everyone, and welcome to another Scots Whay podcast. And today I'm joined by two parts of Mitchell Museum, Cammy and Raindeer. Hello guys.
Hello.
We're here to talk about the new album Skinny Tricks, which is out on the 15th of May on Scottish Fiction. So far I think we've only heard the single Freak Beak, is that right?
Well, yeah, officially Freak Beak has been released as a single, but I don't know if you were aware of this, but surprisingly earlier in the week Gideon Cole played the next single on Six Music, which I was not expecting, so to the point that I actually fell over. So Neil from Scottish Fiction sent a message saying we're on the radio just now. And I was in the kitchen just doing the dishes, and I had the radio on anyway quite quietly, and then turned up the volume, and then I heard I was really excited and tried to tweet about it at the same time, and as I did that I actually fell over, and then my girlfriend came through to find out what on earth was going on, and I was like, we're on the radio. Wow. Yes, but it wasn't until after the song stopped playing that I realised that it wasn't Freak Beak. And it was actually the next single, so I think he has like the promo of the album, and so he played that. Yeah, no, it was great. And then Stephen Mack played another one. Was that Thursday?
That was the day after, wasn't it?
The day after, and again it was the first track from the new album. We're kind of like stopped playing all of the album.
Because there'll be nothing else to
Well, if you're going to get it played, why not?
Well, that's true.
What a way that would have been to be hospitalised.
What happened? It just slipped because I was on the radio.
No, how have you got these bruises? This is suspicious. No, my song was on the radio.
Honestly, yeah.
So, tell us about the album then. So, kind of take us through some of the themes and everything that go through it.
Yeah. Okay. So, have you heard it? Have you heard it?
I've heard bits of it. I haven't heard the whole thing.
Yeah. So,
I've heard some of it live as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So, you'll kind of hear that there's a lot going on, and anybody I've spoken to about the album, there's like an awful lot going on in it. And one of the main things that we've done is we've sampled WhatsApp videos.
Yes.
So it's like audio from WhatsApp videos that my friends have shared on WhatsApp and Facebook and that kind of thing. And that gave me the idea to create a kind of, in terms of sound, everyone's constantly documenting their lives, and everyone's, I feel, kind of screaming into the internet all the time. So in terms of the way it sounded, I kind of wanted to create this kind of feeling of like having all these kind of cut up samples throughout the album to create that kind of stuff. Everyone's trying to say their piece, but it's all very dense inside the album. We're talking to a friend who's in the first song. You hear the sound of him talking to his daughter, but you actually can't make it out because I've stretched the audio out and kind of slowed it down, so you turned it into a note. See, he was a wee bit disappointed that you can't really tell, because if initially he said, "Let me get late, I'm going to speak to my lawyers." Once I told him that it was on the album, but so that's in terms of the sound of the album. I think so. There's quite a lot in this, really, isn't there?
Yeah. So I suspected that. I have to say, I think what's really interests me from what I've heard is it sounds different to previous records, but it still sounds like you. There's something very, and I was listening back to your previous records that you've made. There is definitely a Mitchell Museum sound that comes through. So is that something you're kind of aware of when you're making new music?
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, right? So. When it was after we finished the second album, we knew that we had to get working on the next album right away, because the whole process just takes such a long time to write and then to record.
It takes so long.
It takes so long. like
tiring.
I
don't know how it is. It takes so long, but it's just time disappears, and you're like, this might be 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I remember. Talking to somebody when we were playing, it was the Jock Rock gig, wasn't it? On stereo, and I was saying to someone, they kind of didn't believe that we were so far through the new album, because there was such a big gap between the first and the second album.
No, I could say that, absolutely.
So it was Mike from Manic Pop Thrills,
was it?
and I don't think he quite believed that we actually had finished writing it. But I was like, honestly, it's done, it's ready. And at that point, we thought it was going to be like ready within like 6 months or something.
We
like
definitely
that.
thought it was coming out last year.
We definitely thought it was coming out last year. Yeah. So, so in terms of like your question about the sound. When it came to writing the songs, so what normally happens for the songwriting, I tend to write a demo, get the kind of the melody and the lyrics and some kind of synths and samples worked out, and then Raindeer and Kris will kind of build on top of that. You build your parts on top of that.
I think that Kris and I have got a distinctive style.
I think that too.
That we bring to your songs.
I think you definitely have. It's very much a band sound. I was thinking, listen again to music, the drums and the bass, that rhythm section, it really is, it's all part of the sound.
I think that you've got a very, very distinct drumming style.
And I think Kris has got a very distinct bass style as well, like falling down. That I don't know if he intends to like play like he's
to be live,
fall over
when he's nearly. That's the theme in the band. If we just fall over a lot. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. So,
but this fit together quite nicely.
Yeah. So when we were writing that album, I sat down, but I was really conscious of kind of not wanting to repeat ourselves.
Sure.
And so. That's where I got the idea for like doing this like sampling stuff from videos, and then building like loops out of the videos and making it a little bit more electronic-y, I think, because I think the first album, Petersburg Moral Service, has got quite kind of an organic acoustic-y kind of sound to it, and it's got less electronics in it. And I think because of the internet theme is kind of as well, I kind of wanted to have that sound of like just being a little bit more electronic-y, but. That's what I was going to say. It was like the first song that I wrote was for Reindeer's birthday, and it wasn't meant to be a song that we were going to do with Mitchell Museum at all. And to get away from the idea of writing a Mitchell Museum song and thinking this is what a classic Mitchell Museum song is, I decided that I was going to kind of create this sort of other, like a solo kind of alter ego type thing called
Freakbeak.
Freakbeak, yeah. And so I wrote the song, and then the song I think was called. What was the song called?
No, it was just called Freakbeak Birthday Song.
Freakbeak Birthday Song. That's right. Yeah. And then that's right. Yeah, and I think it was part of this piece that was Flog. That was the piece that I was supposed to be. And then after I played you the song, you were kind of like, why are we not doing this as a Mitchell Museum song?
Right.
And then I thought, okay, and then I started writing everything in this kind of Freakbeak / Flog kind of mindset to kind of get away from the block of writing standard Mitchell Museum songs.
Right.
But the problem with that was every single song was called Flog A, Flog 1, Flog 2, Flog 3, and so when it came to mixing that with David R. Simpson, it was a total nightmare for him, because he would say to me what song we were working on today, and I'd be we're working on Flog 8, but he's like, what's that? What?
I mean, I have that problem. What song were we playing in the practice studio, and it was like Flog what?
Yeah, because we still call them, like we in the band still call the songs like Flog 7, Flog 8, and you'll be like, is that Flog Wilson? Because they also have different names as well.
So this is why it takes so long to play anything. Yeah. But that is interesting. So that original Freakbeak Birthday song, it had the idea of looping and sampling and all that stuff.
Well, so in that song, it originally had a sample of a guy doing a TED talk, and we were going to get in touch with the guy, weren't we, asking if we could.
Yeah, I don't know how we were going to do that, but we definitely spoke about it.
We spoke about it, and then we changed our minds, and then we just kind of took the part, because what I did was I cut up his TED talk and kind of rearranged all the words. So there was this phrase he keeps saying, like, dead implies dead, which is not what he actually said in the TED talk, but that's what we sing. That's what we sing now at the start of the song. So so that was the first time that I started playing about with the loops, and also my friend talking to his daughter and stuff as well. That's on that as well. Yeah.
So when she decided that this is the kind of sound of the record, how do you approach the individual tracks then?
Right. Yeah. So So yeah, I was in this kind of bit of a rut, 'cause as I was saying, I didn't want to kind of create the same thing again.
Right.
Alright, and I think I was having this little bit of kind of writer's block going on because of that. And so that's where I thought, well, it's good that I'm working with this kind of alter ego type thing, but also what am I wanting to write about? So the second album was about, even though it was about like the breakup with a long-term relationship that I had, that was all dealt with, all done, but I'd been through this process of like playing these songs live, and that's kind of also quite depressing.
Yeah, I know.
You know, so and it was a bit kind of what am I gonna do now? Now that I'm here, that's done. Actually, everything's pretty good in life. So then I then started thinking about like just other stuff, and I realised that at the point I was writing this was around about September time. And you probably know about there was a phase where I had a manic episode. You might know about this already. It was the first album was a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And I had been reading the book Into the Wild.
Right.
And I don't know if you're familiar with the book.
No.
So it's what do you call it? It's a non-fiction book, right? And it's about a young guy that was living in America, and he just decides that he comes from this very kind of the American dream kind of life.
Sure.
He finished university, and then he just decides that he's just going to go into the wild, gets rid of all his possessions, throws everything away, and then decides that he just wants to be. He calls himself a super tramp, I think is the phrase that he decides to use.
Right.
And he changes his name. And as I was reading that book, it made me really annoyed. And there was an element of it where I could relate to the time where I had the manic episode, and that was part of what happened with me. Was that I decided that I remember like I actually had my passport with me, and I'd ripped up my passport, and I decided that I was going to go on my own adventure and just go, and I don't know, I'm not even quite sure what I was going to do, but I could see like, you know, the parallels, and that bothered me, and then it made me think about that period of time again. So the first song was kind of singing a little bit about the comparison between me and this person, and then that continues throughout the album, and it's in chunks. So there's a section of 3 songs where it goes over the point of where I had the episode to the point where I was sectioned.
Yeah.
And then out of hospital, and the next single, it sounds really weird talking about it, and the next single is Footsteps 101, and the basis of that is around when I came out of hospital. Initially they thought that I had schizophrenia,
right?
And that's what my parents were told, and were told I would never function in society ever again.
Wow.
I don't look at him.
Look at him today. He's just getting by.
But surprised.
So my parents weren't happy with that, so they went and got a second opinion, and then the second opinion was what had actually happened was that I had got right into, at the time I was a student that was studying acting, and I was right into method acting and Stanislavski technique.
Yes, yeah.
And so I got so into that I'd started really pushing myself, and I stopped really eating and drinking and just thinking, I don't really have to do that anymore, and that's what caused that was just this one-off episode.
Right, that's fascinating.
Yeah. But so that's what the second doctor. That's what's happened to you. Got out of hospital. By this point, they'd given me medication for schizophrenia, and I wasn't able to properly move or function anymore. Like, so there's this clear memory I've got where asking you.
I've got that memory too.
I'm sorry this is upsetting.
That's alright.
I know I'm like happily jolly talking. Asking Raindeer, my brother, if he can show me how to walk in the way that any ordinary person would do, because I couldn't do it anymore. And so this memory that we both have of me watching him walk up the road and then me trying to emulate that. So that's what That's what the music was about, yeah.
And if anyone is, when you know someone's watching you walk, because then you start thinking, how do I walk? Which I guess is what we were trying to do.
Well, yeah, that's right, yeah.
It's really interesting. I know a little bit about a method acting side of things and studied it years and years ago. And part of it is that idea of breaking things down into almost individual sections.
That's right, yeah.
So, like this foot goes in front of the other, and they're actually thinking about all of these things.
That's right.
You kind of get it.
Yeah.
If you got so far into that, that it can be maybe difficult to get back out.
Well, yeah, because I think that was part of it as well, because I had become, like, in a way, all these different kind of characters that I've been playing, so it was difficult to find, like, myself again in that. So that's what that section of the album is about. That, so there's a little kind of 3-piece there. And then the second half is a little bit about kind of where I am now, and then by the end it ties it back into Alex from Into the Wild. So the last song's called Alex the Kid? No, Alex Kid. Which is actually the name of a computer game from the 90s, but it's about that guy and about my relationship to that guy. So that's what it's all about. And people have said to me, "Oh, nice one, Cammy. Was that not what the first album was about?" But then, if you've had a Manic episode, then maybe you've got more material there. More things to say. Yeah.
Who are they?
The memories start coming back of different people. I mean, that's an astonishing story. And actually, because as I say, I haven't heard the whole album, but the more you listen to the tracks I have, they start to make more sense. Yeah. Because they're quite, what's the word? Start in the on their own. Yeah. They're quite arresting, and there's so much going on in them. Yeah. Like listening to Freak Beak again this morning, you're going, what's being said and what's that loop and what you can really lose yourself in the songs. Yeah. And is that how the album kind of works as a whole? Then you think?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it feels like that. Like.
Well, your girlfriend Helen.
Yeah.
I really love what she said about it.
When after we'd got the finished version put together, and I was like, right, okay, let's listen to this. And I was quite scared of sitting listening to it. She's a good critic. She tells you what she thinks, and she was like sitting, we were listening to it, and she was baffled at points. She was like, what is this, and why did this happen now? And then like by the end of it though, she was just like, all right, I get it.
That's it. It's that kind of placing the pieces together to kind of see a whole. And I do think that's what all of your albums do. There's often it's you can listen to the individual tracks, but when it really starts to make sense is when you listen to the whole thing. It's like a proper album.
Definitely, that's really what we've always wanted, because we're big fans of albums as the full piece, and and I think on all 3 albums so far, what we tend to have, the tracks will bleed into the next track, and then we'll have a little break, and then it'll bleed into the next one, and at the end of this album, it's basically. I would say there's 3 tracks, but it's really one track, so it's like really a track that's 17 minutes, really, isn't it? And it's just this whole piece that all comes together, and by the end of it, it's a little bit Pink Floyd-y, because by the end of it, the last sound you hear is actually the first sound you hear at the album. So.
And there's some explosions.
And there's a wee explosion. Roger Waters shouting in the background.
The images, like the covers, and from what I've seen the videos and stuff like that, you've got a really strong kind of image going on there. It's I'm looking at my questions there, and from what we've just spoken about, and it's so interesting, because I was going to say it's a little bit psychedelic, but actually I thought it was not. It's psychotropic. It's that kind of thing. And then we're thinking, it is good, that thing. So you could explain the imagery and
that was a bit difficult, because it's Kris's.
It's a shame that Kris is locked up in his house. He was hoping to come along, but he's self quarantined.
He is. So it's Kris he does all the artwork for everything, and he has done for all the albums, and the same with the videos. It's like Kris. In fact, so the video was a surprising thing, because what Kris tends to do, I think he picks up on. The image is very similar to the sound in a way, because there's so much going on. So Kris is like obviously in that Mitchell Museum world all the time as well. So I guess he knows what we look like in terms of this.
I think you're right. I think he's got a very clever way of understanding. He's a graphic designer,
right?
That's what he does, and he's done a lot of artwork for other bands. Like he's done a lot, Lloyd's Olive Grove.
Yes,
he's done like loads of those artwork for that, and I think he has a really good way of listening to bands, and he gets a good picture of what the visual should look like.
It's kind of fascinating, isn't it? Because
special skill.
Because you probably wouldn't realise that Kris has done that artwork, because the stuff he does for us is so distinct and it's so very different from like the kind of stuff he's done for Olive Grove.
Yeah.
So,
But I think also if you did know, then you can tell he's got a style about him, but he's really kind of managed, I think, to capture. Like, I mean, you're not singing about three-eyed dogs, but those images seem to really work well with what the sound is of this album. It's quite sharp and bright and
dense, a lot going on.
And kind of unsettling in a way.
Definitely unsettling.
A dog with an extra eye, that's the feeling that you get from it. But that's so interesting, because the cover of Peter's Port Memorial Service is quite different in style to the new one. And then when you're saying he's done it for other that absolutely makes sense. And some of Olive Grove's records are beautiful. The whole design is great.
Well, what I was going to say though, like, so see for the video for Freakbeat, initially what happened was I got up one day and I thought, well, we need to get a video for Freakbeat. This is when we thought the album was going to come out last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I got up and I was like, I'm just going to film myself and like miming to the song in a really sinister way, and then I'll put on this kind of make it look like it's an old VHS tape. And then Kris saw it, he liked it, but then he was like, I think I can do more with that. So you took it away, did more with that, and then when we saw what he did with it,
couldn't believe it.
It was brilliant, but it was a real surprise. So I've spoken to people that have said, wow, that video was quite out there, and they were quite taken aback, but I've got to say that I had the same experience when I saw it as well. But absolutely brilliant. And we just finished filming the video for the next one, and I have to say that it's...
We've not seen it back yet,
but we know that it's bizarre.
We were there.
It's quite something.
I love that idea that you're kind of constantly surprising each other with what you're offering up. It's strange for a band to have been around for a while. How have you got that from that, and how have you got that from that?
Oh, that's true. I have in the past certainly surprised Kris. Like when we were working on the second album, I remember, as we've discussed, there's a lot of stuff going on in there. I do a lot of loops and samples and stuff, and I remember like there was one song, A Change As Good As The Rest, from the second album, and we felt that it wasn't quite finished, and I went away and kind of did some work on it, and I gave him like a whole load of, because me and Kris were mixing it together, and I played him, so this is what we're going to have at the end, but soloed by itself sounds completely bananas. Like inside the song it makes sense, but I remember like Chris's face when I played it to him, and he just looked kind of horrified. but it really worked in the end. But we are constantly surprising each other.
So going right back to you've been releasing records since about 2009, 2010.
Yeah, that's right.
So how have you seen things change in all those times in kind of Scottish music scene, for want of a better word, but the way things are done? Because in my head, I have it that Peter's Port Memorial Service was the first vinyl album I bought in years.
No way, really?
I was like, yeah, absolutely. And because it was the beginning of vinyl kind of making its comeback.
Yeah, that's right.
And is that something that you guys had decided?
Yeah, we thought it'd be cool. We were just like, it'd been really nice to have like have it on vinyl, because we used to always like love that when we were little and see our parents' vinyl and stuff.
Yeah.
And also everybody.
First single was released on vinyl.
That's right. Yeah.
And it seemed.
But not many other people were doing it back then.
That's right.
I remember that I didn't have a record player anymore. I realised, oh right, okay, there's a problem here. But now, of course, it's right across the board.
That's true. Everyone does it now.
I think like way back at the start as well, we were aware of the fact that Kris again has got mega powers when it comes to like a visual artistic thing. So like the fact that you could get a vinyl and like have it sort of gatefold, and
that's right,
and then inside it's all joins up. We really liked that idea because it kind of went with the idea of how we wanted to approach our music. It was like just a one piece.
It completes the album idea, doesn't it? It's
yeah, absolutely. It's not just something that you skip a track on or anything like that. You do sit down and you play it right from start to end. Are there other things that you think things have changed?
I think the thing that's been a bit weird for us is that I think things have changed quite a bit and it doesn't seem like it was that long. But but I know that when the first album came out, that was at the point that Twitter was really starting to happen as well, and we weren't very good at it.
No, we didn't understand it. We didn't know what it was.
We were actually, I remember we went to a Twitter launch party or something like that in Edinburgh.
We played it.
That was really weird.
Like, don't really know what this Twitter is. Yeah. Why are you following me? It's really creepy.
Stalking? What is it? Are you stalking me?
How many followers do you have? No way.
Yeah, so, but now like that's it's just an absolutely massive thing now, and that's been something that I think I've just kind of recently just kind of been getting the hang of again. Is like kind of. And it's a great way to, depress yourself, isn't it? When you see all the sadness that's going on, but also a great way to, like, just kind of meet other bands and kind of interact with other people in a way that wasn't possible before. Because, I've definitely found quite a lot of new music through that, through Twitter.
And I'm guessing, was Spotify going?
I think
years ago?
Spotify was. It just started,
hadn't it? Had just started.
Because that's been the other huge kind of change. How people, put their music out. I mean, with positives and many negatives as well.
That's the thing. Yeah, I think with Spotify, because we've both got Spotify, haven't we? And it's great, but it's also the thing is trying to make sure that you remember to actually buy the stuff as well to support the artist, which is something that definitely, we try to do. And I think the release for this album is going to be delayed on Spotify.
Right.
It's for that reason, so it's not going to be available on Spotify right away.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, I got the idea from the way that Storm the Palace released their last album, and when it came out, I was really looking forward to it, and I looked on Spotify and it wasn't on Spotify, and I was like,
thing what is this album that you've been telling me about?
Yeah. So and I loved the album, and so I was like, well, I was gonna buy it anyway, but it really made me buy it because there was no way that I could that I could listen to it on Spotify. So I thought, let's delay that for us a little bit, and hopefully other people will have the same reaction.
It's interesting because I know when I started the website, it was back in 2010 as well, and a lot of people would just send all their albums, because they didn't quite know what to do, because CDs had kind of died a bit, and for one you'll say, don't send people all your albums for free, for good, the whole thing, and the other thing was they weren't quite sure just how to get it into people's hands, and I think that has probably been better, even though, as Spotify, you don't make any kind of money from it, but the people I know that are really into their music do both. They listen and they get the lovely, whatever it is now, often vinyl, and that kind of thing. So does each album that you've done now, as I said at the beginning, they all sound like you, but they do have this kind of individual identity. Is it quite important? You talked about an alter ego to push this into another direction, but to have them sound really independent from each other.
Definitely. It's a big thing. Definitely for me. I don't really ever want to repeat ourselves in terms of the sound, even though we have got a distinct sound, but it's trying to find a different. I don't know.
Let's just try and keep it interesting. It's keeping it interesting for us as well.
That's right.
Because I love people to hear the music and to like it. If they like it, great. If they don't, fair enough. But also, personally, really love to enjoy playing the music and the process of writing it. So if we were just writing the same stuff
Yeah.
over and over and over again, I don't think we'd be doing it.
No, that's true. That's true. It is. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'd be doing something else, but
as I say, it's interesting that it's still always kind of, you have your own styles, whether it's singing or drumming or bass as well, which kind of always comes through. And you're great live as well. With all that's, there's supposed to be a launch at the Glad Cafe, isn't there, in the 15th, and one at the Leith Depot in Edinburgh, the 16th. I guess you don't know what's going to happen with those situation.
I know, because everyone's getting cancelled just now. Yeah,
I had not thought of that.
Did you not?
Sorry, bring you down. Well, the reason it's at the forefront of my head is I was going to see a gig at the Glad Cafe last night, which was cancelled, and it was the artist. They decided they're not going to do it, and on your Twitter feed or whatever, it just seems to be people don't know quite what to do. I know. Broken Chanter, I've had to. I was
going to see them in Dundee actually, and I was quite disappointed that that's been cancelled now, and I was a bit surprised, but like I totally understand it, It's,
but for you guys, playing live, aside from the situation at the moment, it does seem to be a really important part of what you do.
Yeah, well, I think we love playing live.
I absolutely love it.
Great fun. Yeah. Although. I don't know about you. Chris is always quite relaxed. I'm always terrified before we go. I can't talk to anyone.
Really? Yeah. See, I think that a lot of people, especially in small gigs, don't realise that people feel like that. And they see folk, they go, "Oh, how are you doing?" And then they're going, "Oh God, I'm shit myself."
Yeah. That is a thing, isn't it? Yeah. Everyone comes up to you, like, "Oh, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in ages." Yeah, brilliant. And you're like, "I need to concentrate on what I'm about to do." Yeah. But I absolutely love playing live. Yeah. One of my favourite things to do. Yeah.
So, in terms of how you approached this album, it's really interesting to me because you started with this new song, but the birthday song.
Yeah.
How do you then go about it? Is it a case that you write songs and then take them to the other guys, or is it more?
Yeah. So I'd make a demo up, and then I'll send it out to you guys. And then we kind of work around what I've created. That's it, isn't it?
That's it. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
So in terms of, have you been ever surprising again? But when you get something that Cammy's written, and you go,
yeah, that happens. But usually it's like I have to listen to a thing a couple of times. Well, there was the last thing that you sent, so Cameron's already started writing stuff for next album.
Yeah.
And then he sent something up to us the other week, and I was like, I definitely love this, but I don't know what it is. I need to listen to something a couple of times, and I think this must be the case for people that hear our songs. Yeah.
Because particularly with the new songs, it feels it's almost about the whole vibe behind it. It's not just about these are beautiful lyrics or everything. It's really it's almost like a force of nature what these songs are doing in that sense. And I guess that comes if you're cutting samples up.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that with your own lyrics? Do you ever record it down and then?
In the kind of the David Bowie kind of method. Yeah, definitely. I've done that before, and mostly I've done it a few times, but I've had a go at that.
So in terms of the kind of dynamic of the collaboration, then once Kris and yourself get the songs, I mean, you've already done the demo with music.
Yeah, demo with music, there were the samples, all the weird stuff.
Cameron comes at us with the samples and the mad noises, and then we try and put a wee bow on it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Rhythms
I mean, I guess we play them through.
We tend to, what we do is they'll hear this kind of demo with all the weird sounds and everything, and then the three of us will get together and we'll do like a basic version of the song where I'll play. So we rehearse in lo-fi studios and they've got pianos in there, so we'll play. I'll play the piano and you'll play the drums and Kris will play the bass, and we work in a kind of a very standard kind of live band kind of version of the songs, and then as we get better at doing that, it gives you the space to kind of work on your drum parts, and that tends to kind of change the dynamic of some of the songs, because when you're just doing a kind of a loop of a song with like drum loops and stuff yourself, it can be quite static sometimes. that's what like you and Kris like really helped with bringing the dynamics out. So we worked that out, and then we start putting the kind of the weird samples back in.
So when you have finished an album like you have with this one now, do you still think about it a lot?
Oh, loads. Don't stop thinking about it. Yeah. Don't stop thinking about it. Weirdly, I think you hear like a lot of people say when they write music that they never listen to their songs or their albums, but I haven't listened to her album a lot recently. It's terrible. I actually really enjoy it.
That's great. No.
So yeah.
And what about previous albums? Do you go back to them?
I do go back to them, and I get annoyed about them.
Yeah, he's always very. You're always down on Petersport Memorial Service, especially, aren't you?
I am.
And then just the other day, he sent me a message saying, "Oh, I'm quite harsh on that."
It's true. I did say that. It's just funny because I think that was the first album that we made, and there's stuff that I would love to change about it. And I think that some stuff didn't quite come out the way that I wanted it to at the time. Mm-hmm. If I'm being honest, I do really love the album, but it does do my head a little bit when I can hear or I can't hear something that I know that was recorded but it hasn't quite come out the way that I wanted to at the time. So I'm quite harsh on it.
I do think it's like listening to sort of third album now, and I do like personally that I think you can hear a path though. I can hear like where we started off, even for the first song of Petersport right to like the end of this album. Mm-hmm. I feel like it makes sense, the journey of how we've ended up where we are now. It's not like there's no sudden like massive change. It feels organic.
I totally agree.
But I guess that's maybe because of the way that you've explained that you work.
Yeah. Because
of your song, Cammy, and then you kind of give them over to the band. It's not like, you know, Ringo's come in and said, "I've got Yellow Submarine" or something that you go, "Well, this is," it will always sound. That's why it sounds.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Definitely.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
So now that it's been played on the radio and all that kind of stuff, I guess you won't know what you're going to do in terms of touring or things like that. But you wouldn't have thought about what comes next, have you?
Well,
you said how long it takes you to record these things.
Oh yeah, well no, I'm already working on the next thing. Mm-hmm. I've already started writing like new songs.
So what two?
We got 2 songs.
2 new songs.
Do you know what they're called?
Yeah, and you go.
They're called Flog A and Flog B.
Never learn from your mistakes.
Started working on them already, and I was actually working on something yesterday as well.
Oh, you
know. Constantly surprising. But are you constantly basically making music? That's
I would say so. Yeah, when I'm not doing anything else, that's the thing that I go to, and I think being aware certainly about the amount of time that it takes to put a new album together and then get it out there, like just really knowing that I need to get working on it. And also the weirdest thing, and it happened once I started working on the second album, the third album, and once I really got into that place of writing the songs, it worked really well for me, and that the writer's block was gone.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and so it's like I want to just keep writing so I don't lose that, I don't go through that phase again. So like once whatever's opened up and it's going well, so it's just still trying to strike whilst the iron's hot.
Yeah, I think having spoken to a few writers over the years that have had writer's block, that's the fear that it'll come back. So it's that kind of, I have to get up every day and do however amount.
I mean, years ago I remember hearing about Neil Young, and he would write a song a day. That's what he would do. Like I think, but that was like in a way to make sure that he didn't go into that phase of block. I tried that for a bit. And I wrote a load of crap.
I'm sure not all Neil Young songs in that.
Yeah. They're not all good. They're not stadium films. But it must be a scary thing if you know what you do is write music all the time.
Yeah.
And how did it kind of happen? Was it lyrical block or was it actual musical?
I think it's a little bit musical. The lyrically, I don't really ever have a block with that. I think it's making the song itself and how does. never totally sure how the song comes together, but I think when you've been playing music for such a long time, when you're used to playing a song on a keyboard or playing a song on a guitar, because some songs are written on keyboard, some on guitar, you tend to go to the same shapes when you're writing a song. You tend to go to the same. You can't. It's hard not to go to the same chord structures you've done before. And you go, oh, I've already done that. And so that's part of like why I wanted to use the looping thing and taking sounds and making like instruments out of my friends and family, because then I was doing something entirely new that I hadn't done before. So it was kind of creating a new instrument in a way, so that I was not going into the same old chord progressions, you know. So yeah, I think it's musically that's where I've lost it before, but currently it's all good.
It's all good. Fingers crossed. It's all good. And you're talking, you know, we're sampling friends and family. And they were all quite happy to be sampled.
Well, that was the thing. I did forget to tell them.
You do know that.
They know now, yeah. But it was the point when we were putting the artwork, or like Kris was putting the artwork together for the new album, and we realised that we had to credit everybody that was on it, and it's difficult to know like where everybody is now. But certainly I know that our mum's on the album, and she got a bit of a surprise when I told her. So like in the second last song, you can hear her making this kind of weird whooping sound, but it doesn't really stand out, but like she would know, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
nice.
So yeah, but everybody knows now. Everyone knows now. Yeah, only a couple of people have said that they're going to speak to their lawyers about it.
So if you didn't know now and you're listening to this, check it out. Just in case your friends. Listen, guys, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's really interesting, and we'll be back soon with someone completely different. Cheers.